Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Bonsai's Forever. Today I have a tree that I am very proud of and also needs a lot of work. This tree has kind of gotten overgrown and I've just been enjoying it growing and didn't really keep up on it, so now it's kind of losing its shape. So I need to go through and clean it up because it does have quite a few pieces inside that are dying back because of the length of everything. So to get started, the biggest thing that I want to try and do here, you guys all over the place. Really excited about something. So talking about stuff all over the place and getting the camera in the right spot. I finally was able to order a shed yesterday. So I'm going to be setting up the shed. It's going to be a little while, so when it gets here. I'm going to set it up to where that's going to be my workshop, and I'm going to put trees and whatnot in there that can't freeze. The greenhouse is going to get redone afterwards, so I got a lot of stuff coming. A lot of exciting. Wow, if I could talk, that would be great. I always start talking too fast. I've got a lot of stuff coming. A lot of things going to be happening. So really excited about that. But anyway, back to the tree. So the biggest thing that I want to do with this tree, as you can see, everything is like just really long. Like I've got long branches here, and they're starting to get weak because they're just really weak branches now. I've let them go too long, and when you let them go too long like this, they start getting weak branches underneath. The end is solid. The end is really nice and healthy, but all of this back here is just really just falling off. So I need to go through and basically just kind of go through each branch and get all of the stuff to fall off of it to get started, I guess. Because, I've got all this stuff just falling off the tree. It's just bad needles. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to do that. Then I'll come back to you guys and we'll go to the next step. So I guess what I'm saying, if I'm going to be teaching on this video, if you let it go too long, you're going to have to go through and clean out the garbage that's underneath. So I'm going to go through and clean up this tree, and then I'll come back to you guys and we'll go to the next step. I got to bring my compost bucket back over here. Just put it in front of me so I can put all my stuff in the compost. Alright. Okay, you guys are set. And I'm going to use my glasses because I'm getting old. And I need to use my glasses to be able to see closely now. So, here we go. And I think I'm going to turn this light on over here. Give me a little bit more light out here. Hopefully this helps out. Okay, hopefully that helps out. I don't know if it'll help out with you, how you guys can see or not. Oh, great. It is helping out, but the camera's not right. Because it looks like waves going by. I'm going to fix that. Swiped up. Jeez. Okay. Back to work. Alright, everybody, I'm back. I had to go do a bunch of stuff this afternoon, and now it's nighttime, and it was morning when I got started on this. So, I think um, oh, I can't think when I'm pulling weeds. So I got my bug zapper going so I don't get eaten by all the mosquitoes. I'm sure you guys heard that. Just zapping and going off. Anyway, so as I clean this up, I'm gonna go from branch to branch to branch to branch, and then I'm gonna go up the tree, and then I'm gonna end up at the top of the tree. The reason why I do that, the reason why most bonsai artists that I know of do that is so that you don't miss something. You want to get every branch. You want to make sure you get the whole tree and take care of all the problems, and then when you're done, you know you're done, and you don't have to think, did I miss something, or go back and keep going back and keep going back. But anyway, rambling now. So yeah, well, I guess I'm just gonna get started. I'm gonna go through and get this cleaned up finally, because it's been quite a few hours since I got started on this. So I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna trim everything back as well. I'm gonna work on each branch. I'm gonna go through and I'm gonna pick out all the stuff that just falls off. I don't really want that stuff on here because it's just taking up space and it's not healthy if it's just gonna fall off. So, and then anything that's super long or has dead ends on it, like this piece right here is just super long. I don't know if you can see anything. I'd rather you guys see the tree than be watching me look at the tree. See if you can see this now. Alright, so this piece here, it's really long. It's attached way down here. I'm just going to take that whole piece off because there's no way to get backbudding on that as far as I know. Branches like this will eventually backbud, but once they're start hardening off, you have to wait a lot longer for them to actually backbud after that. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to pinch as well. Pinch the ends off of the branches, or pinch the tips off as I'm going through and cleaning this up. Anything that just removes all the green, I'm just going to take it off. Probably going to remove some stuff like this. Any weak branches, I'm going to take them out as well at this point. It is still late summer, so I don't want to take off too much, because taking off too much means that it doesn't have anywhere to perspirate and keep itself cool. So I'm going to try not to take off too much, but I definitely want to get off enough to get this cleaned up to where it can recover from being neglected. And I might later on just wire some of this out and let it recover further, and then go back and trim it up a little bit more once it starts backbudding, after I get all this taken care of. Because once I get this done, it should let more light through the tree, so it should start backbudding a little bit more, and then we can go back in and reevaluate it and get some better ramification out here, and I can move these branches back in again. I think mostly what I'm trying to do though is get rid of the unhealthy growth in here. This light's helping, but it's glaring at me. There we go. No, it's not helping at all. A lot of stuff on the inside here, you could just like pull it off. It's not going to be really hard to remove it. Obviously, if it's a branch that's hard enough, then you're going to have to cut it off with scissors. But I think I'm going to leave some of this interior growth in here because I'm probably going to be bending some of these branches later on. So I'm going to leave some of this so when I bend it, it'll make sense later. I won't be doing any bending today, but I'm going to be doing that this fall. I'm going to do all of the crazy wiring this fall. If you watched my last video with the Juniper Virginia red cedars, then you'll know that I like wiring these type of trees in the fall because they seem to you seem to have more time with the wire on the branch because it's not growing nearly as fast, but it is still growing, so the branches will set, but the wire won't dig in as quickly. So you'll have a little bit easier time with that. There's a lot of branches on this tree that I left on this tree because I was afraid to take stuff off of this tree originally. This is one of my very first larger bonsai trees. It's a Juniper chinensis was the name on the pot. I got it as a nursery pot tree, or a garden tree, nursery tree. It wasn't originally a bonsai. So anyway, it was a little bit more expensive than I normally spend on a tree that's not a bonsai tree. So I was kind of afraid to do any work to it that was going to possibly kill it before I got it really established in the pot and everything. And it's coming up on being time to repot this this spring, I think. I'm going to put it back in this same pot, but I am going to clean up the roots and put new soil in here. It does still drain really well, but I'm thinking that it's in need of a repot. It's been a couple of years in this pot so far. I'm pretty sure I put it in this pot. Trying to think now. I think I put it in this pot right after I moved out here to Florida from Colorado. So I think it's been 4 years now in this pot. So it is coming up on time to repot this, and I am distracted by all this stuff on the ground here, so sorry about that. You guys know me. I have to pull the weeds. The weeds drive me nuts. That's interesting. It's got a tiny little root coming out of the base of the trunk right here. This means it's been really wet lately. The root base on this tree is really actually pretty cool. I'm really liking it. It's developing really well. Where was I? I think I was right here. Yeah, I was right in here. So the root base is developing really well. The tree's actually developing really well. It's just that if you let these go too long, like the Virginii, they just grow really long branches, and there's not much behind them. But with these, just trim them up and they'll backbud, and you can have more growth and get it more compact a lot more easily. want this branch. It's not looking super great though. Yeah, I can wire that out. Either that or I might actually cut it back to this foliage back here. Maybe do some deadwood out here or something. I'm not sure yet. I will look this over better when I get ready to wire it out. But right now I just need to make it healthy so I can wire it out. So I was thinking earlier about watching one of the YouTubers that I watch. A lot of people overseas will know Hiran's Bonsais. I think that's how you pronounce it. But anyway, there was one video I was watching with him, and he was going to town on this tree, just chop, 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 chop. And he mentioned, he's like, you know, you don't have to put a whole lot of thought into every single cut on the tree. You know what you're doing. You know that you're cleaning it up. Go through, clean it up. You know, get the work done. And then he mentioned he's got over 1,000 trees. You know, and he's like, I've got so many trees that if I took a lot of time on each decision, then I would never get anything done. So I was kind of thinking about that, and a lot of times I'll sit and look at a branch for a while before I trim it, you know, and I'm like, well, you know, what am I doing just sitting here? I know what I'm trying to accomplish, so why don't I just go ahead and do it, you know? So I don't know, that was just something I was thinking about earlier today. Thought I'd share it with y'all. This is a really cool tree. I've really been enjoying watching this tree grow and develop. I have gained a lot of experience since I got this tree too, so I'm not as worried about killing it. Well, I'm not really worried about killing it, I guess I could say. I'm not really worried about killing it now. I'm just, you know, I've got the experience to be able to do the work that I need to do now, which is awesome. I really like that. I've come a long ways since I moved out here to Florida with my bonsais. They grow a lot different here too. Like the trees they grow so much faster out here and different. I mean, they grow, I don't know. I don't know really how to explain it. They grow more year round out here too, rather than just during the summer and spring. There's some trees out here that if I keep them in the greenhouse, which the tropical trees, I always do that, but they seem to grow much better during the wintertime than they did in Colorado. And in Colorado, I had them in the house, so it was like in the, you know, 60 and 70 degree range in the house. And they still seem to grow better out here, even outside when it's pretty cold sometimes. This branch is really sparse. I'm almost thinking about just taking that whole branch off. Yeah, I'm gonna take all of this off. These branches are sitting underneath of this, so they're getting blocked by the top part of the canopy. That's why it's a really good idea to go through and clean up your trees periodically throughout the growing season. Now I would say that you don't want to really go through and like do really major work every time you trim it back. Just when it starts getting overgrown a little bit, just go through and clean out the interior of the tree a little bit and clean up the weak branches again and leave it at that. Like obviously there's times to do major work and there's times to do lighter work. Yeah, this branch is super weak. I'm gonna just chop this off too. I'm gonna cut these smaller branches off because they look a little weird. Got some pretty decent back budding right here going on. That'll be nice later on. I think I'm back to the first branch here. So, yep, that's the first branch. So I'm gonna go up to this branch here. Work on this one. Oh, these branches are really long before they've got growth on them, and that's because they're down in the tree. So all this is getting sun, and none of this is. So, like I said, I'm gonna wire this out, and then in the springtime, this will all get a lot better sun because this will be down here, and then this will be spread out. So this will all get better light. I get to working on the tree and then don't pay attention to the camera sometimes. Actually, I say sometimes, it's probably quite a bit. These junipers are really hardy. They do really well pretty much anywhere that I can think of. I know that y'all have them over in Europe or UK and all that, and I know like throughout the United States, like everywhere, there's junipers like this. So they do really well, like almost anywhere. They're really cold hardy. They're heat tolerant because it's been up in the hundreds here, and I know in Colorado it gets up into the hundreds as well. And people use these as outdoor trees there in Colorado. You don't see these a lot here as garden variety tree, or finding them at the garden centers. Mostly you find the Procumbens junipers and the blue rug junipers, and then the coastal juniper is another really cool juniper that I have discovered out here in Florida. This is one of my favorite species of juniper though, because it's got really tight compact foliage if you keep it maintained, and it's soft and fluffy rather than pokey and jagged like the Procumbens. And the Virginii is really pokey as well. But like the Virginii, it's way worse than the Procumbens though. Doesn't look like I'm doing a whole lot right now, but it's definitely looking different to me. I'm also looking at like which branches I'm gonna want to use later in the composition when I'm wiring it out, and which branches I'm not gonna want to keep when I wire it out as well, so that the branches that I do keep will be healthier when I go to wire it out. Let's keep it going. This is a kind of a fresh branch right here, actually. I'm really liking this branch. It's going to be nice because I'll be able to put it like right down in this space right here. Yeah, I'll keep that. So these guys, when you trim the ends of the branch, or the end of the branch, it does back bud. So you can get more ramification by keeping it trimmed up. Also, by keeping it cleaned out, the rest of the tree getting sun will actually cause it to back bud as well. So a lot of these branches, if I've got brand new growth um, as a secondary or a tertiary branch, I'm going to kind of get rid of that. I want the branches that have started already to harden off to be the main branches. I'm not going to get rid of all of them because all the ones at the end are not hardened off yet, but like what I mean is these branches, I want more of these branches on here rather than the tiny little branches on this part of the branch. See, like this is what I mean. If I've got this weak branch here, I'm going to get rid of that. So I think this is the last section here. Go through here and get it all cleaned up. Being able to get air through the tree keeps it from being overwatered, or it helps to keep it from being overwatered, especially because it's been raining a lot lately. And like I've told you guys before, my sprinkler system is being ridiculous. Looking at ordering a different timer system for it, one that you can hook up to your phone, and it detects if it's going to rain or if it's really hot, so it'll water more often, stuff like that. trying to do as much automated stuff out here as I can, without completely automating it, because I want to be able to come out and look at my trees while I'm watering them every so often. But yeah, if you're working a lot and you've got almost 400 trees, then it's just really hard to get out here and get everything watered every day. So it's really helpful to have a sprinkler system. As I look at this, I think I'm going to try and reducing it back this next year. I'm going to try and see if I can get it to back bud a little bit more, and then reduce the branch length. Make the tree more compact. Getting rid of this. Yeah, do I want to get rid of this one or that one? I'll take this one out. Taking this out too. It's a cute little tree. I might save that. I'm going to cut these branches back a little ways. I'm actually really surprised I didn't find any creatures in this tree. Alright, so I've got 3 branches right here all together. So I'm going to get rid of this one. I think I'm going to get rid of the top one here too. I've got 2 branches like this, which I can wire these out and have this turn into a pad. So when I'm watching a video, this is about the time that I'm like, dude, you missed that, and you missed that, and are you gonna get that piece, and also, are you gonna cut all of it off, or are you gonna leave anything? I don't know if y'all do that while you're watching bonsai videos or not, but I sure do that. Alright, so I can see down into the tree now, which is awesome. It's really good that I can see in here now. Ouch, just stabbed my fingers with my scissors. I shouldn't do that. Alright, I'm gonna bring you guys back as we can do a little bit of a spin around of the tree. Look at it. I really like the ground on this tree because it looks like it's in a yard. Alright, she looks pretty good. the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take the bark off of the branch that I took all the foliage off. If you take off all the foliage on a branch on a juniper, it's not going to survive. So it's a good way to make deadwood out of it. Just take all the foliage off and then pinch the bark with pliers or gin pliers. Really, I need to get a set of gin pliers, but don't have any currently, so I use these little pliers. They seem to work pretty well. So you just peel the bark. A lot of times you can just peel it to where it just stops peeling. So it kind of makes it look pretty natural that way. And it is a lot easier to peel the bark right after you take the foliage off of it. If you let this dry, it makes it really hard to get the bark off. So if you can do it right away, it's best to do it right away. So this part, breaking the branches back a little bit, that is definitely easier when they're dry. Especially when it's a smaller tree like this. But it can still be done. But the reason why you do this is to make it look like it happened naturally, rather than somebody just peeling the bark off the branch. I guess that kind of happens naturally in the forest too, but more like a deer chewing on it or something like that, or a rabbit, depending on how tall the tree is. So I have this really cool tool that I made. It's a pick. I think I showed this on a different video, but it's like a little pick that I sharpened the ends on it. I'm trying not to scratch the wood, because leaving scratches in it, it's kind of permanent. So but I don't want to take the bark completely off of this, so I'm going to use the sharp edge to cut the bark a little bit. And later on I'll break this branch. I did that to all of these branches in here. I'm going to get some lime sulfur here pretty soon, so that I can lime sulfur all of my branches that are deadwood, so that I can preserve it, because I don't want it all to die or rot away because it's not protected. Then I've got like the deadwood going right through here. See, I got some deadwood going through here. Hello, branch. And here. So yeah. I think that might do it for this tree for today. I might go through it a little bit more, do some more cleaning, clean up the bark. If you're new to the new to bonsai, taking the bark off of your junipers, not all of it, obviously, just the dead outer layer of bark. Keeping that cleaned up is really good for your tree. It helps to prevent bugs, boring beetles, and stuff like that from getting underneath of the bark and killing your tree. I know a lot of people think that it's really cool to have old looking bark on your tree, and it is definitely, but junipers, it's better to have a live tree than a really cool looking dead tree. So that's why I take the bark off of my trees. Just the bark that's shedding off. I hope I made that clear. You don't take all the bark off. Alright. So So I think I've kept you guys long enough. I really hope you enjoyed the video. Give you guys a quick turn around of the tree. I've really enjoyed this tree. Really enjoying watching it develop and turn into a really nice bonsai tree. It's got some pretty cool branch structure. I'm gonna fix the branch structure on this branch, I think, because I like how this one comes out and then everything goes up from it. And this one just kind of goes straight up and goes up. So I don't know. I might leave that because I kind of like it now that I'm looking at it better. But I definitely want to kind of flatten these out and fill them in a little bit. Alright, well, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.